Hi, I'm Kelsey from roughandtumblefarmhouse.com, and today we're going to talk about 5 of my favorite kind of weird items that are really useful for your homestead. So there are a lot of videos out there on YouTube that talk about, the top 5 things or 10 things you need on your homestead, and they're all really practical things that make a lot of sense, and there tends to be a lot of repeats there. So I thought I'd kind of talk about the things that are a little bit different that you might not see on those other lists, but are things that we find super useful. Number 1 on the list is walkie-talkies. Where we live, it's just a 5-acre farm, and we're not super far out of town, but cell reception here is pretty much non-existent. We even switched cell phone companies when we moved here, so we could actually get in a call or two if we stand in like the right corner of the living room or whatever. And so walkie-talkies were something we got about a year ago or 2 years ago maybe now, and they're so handy if I am having to work on fence. I can have my husband back at the charger, unplugging and plugging it back in. When my mom comes and babysits, she can have a walkie-talkie in the house, and I can have one out somewhere around the farm that I am. They have the call buttons, which are really handy, so if it falls out of your pocket, you can call it and find it later, which is really nice too. Definitely had to do that before. And if you have a larger family and a larger homestead, it's nice because if you don't have cell phones for all your kids, you can just get 5, 6, 7, 8, however many of these things you need, have them on the same channel and send them out with your kiddos, so that way you can keep in touch when they're out doing farm chores or even just out playing on your acreage. Next thing on the list actually is something that you use in the kitchen. I'm not filming this in the kitchen because it's like 82 degrees in our house right now. We have every fan on in the house, and I'm too lazy to go turn them all off. So we're doing this part outside too. Silicone oven mitts. This thing is amazing. I got these silicone oven mitts as a wedding present, and I use them every single day. They are amazing because they block heat a lot better than just your regular cloth oven mitts. They also are grippy, so you can really get a good handle on stuff, especially if you have like glass pie plates or any Pyrex stuff. They grip really, really well. You can wash them just in your sink. I don't think these things have ever been through the laundry, which maybe that's gross. But because of the outside silicone, you just put them in the sink and scrub them off. It works great. They also come in really handy for canning. So if you do any canning at all, especially hot water bath canning, you have that wire rack that goes into the boiling water and you have to fish the handles out. We just put this on and reach right in and can pull the handles out. And even if you have regular mouth jars, at least my hand is big enough, I can just grab the jars with this mitt instead of using that little gadget grabber thing to pull the jars out. So silicone oven mitts are fantastic for the homestead. Okay, I'm coming to you from our entryway to show you this next item because it hangs in the garage. This is a halter. I call it the house halter because we have enough problems with our fencing that it's not certainly every day or even every week, but often enough that I'll look out the window and, oh look, one of our cows is walking down the road. And then when that happens, I have to make sure my daughter's secure somewhere, throw on my Crocs, hold on to my pregnant belly and my boobs as I run down to the barn to go and get a halter, and then sprint back up to the road and hope that the cows haven't gotten a quarter mile further down the road. So this isn't really a new gadget or a different gadget, it's just an extra gadget that I keep in the garage that I can grab in a second and go out and get whatever animal it is. So maybe a halter wouldn't be what you need. You want like an ice cream bucket of goat food or something. Something to help you immediately from your home get your animal rather than having to go all the way down to your barn area, all the way back to your house, and then you just have your fingers crossed that the animal is still loose in the same spot. The next item I want to talk about is the steam juicer. It basically has 3 compartments, one for water, one that collects juice, and one for fruit. You throw the whole thing on your stovetop and it makes juice in just a matter of about an hour. It's so handy. You can throw things with pits in there even. I just did a whole video about steam juicers you can check out, but I'm absolutely in love with these things. They make any sort of juicing a cinch. Okay, we are now down in the chicken coop because the next kind of odd, useful item on our homestead is something we keep in the chicken coop, and that is a fishing net. We actually have 2. I don't like using this one as much as this one because this one has a smaller net. So this is super useful for catching stray chickens. I learned this trick when I was working at a diversified dairy farm. They had chickens out on pasture, and so every time we would move their coop, some chickens every time would be a little confused as to where they're supposed to go. And trying to herd chickens in a wide open space is herding cats. It's pretty much impossible. So these work fabulous for catching chickens that are on the loose. It extends your arm, obviously, and then you can just net the bird. My husband, he'll net them and scoop them right up. I get a little more nervous because I think that that could potentially lead to like a broken neck or a twisted leg or something. So I just catch the chickens and then reach under there and grab them by their legs. So these cost less than $10, and they're so handy for if you have chickens that aren't going in their coop because they're young or new or whatever it is, or you have chickens that have escaped. I actually even caught a raccoon in one of these ones. We had adolescent raccoons. It was a super, super cold winter living in our barn. And I discovered them then in the coop eating chicken eggs. Thankfully not chickens, just the eggs. And so it was in the nest box. So I put the net against the nest box, pounded on the top, and when the raccoon tried to jump out, I caught it in the fishing net, which was actually pretty impressive. And then we just dropped the raccoons off. I did catch the other one too in the chicken net, in the fishing net. Caught the other one in the fishing net too, and just we relocated them. But so yeah, whether it's chickens or raccoons, fishing nets work great. Last but certainly not least is the bug assault gun. Now, my husband's going to be so happy that I'm talking about this one, because when he bought this, I complained and complained because I'm trying to be a budgeter, trying to be better about not spending money on silly things. I was like, this is so stupid. Why are you getting this thing? And I use this pretty much every day, and I love this thing so much. When you live on a farm and on a homestead, you are going to have flies in your house and in your kitchen and crawling on you when you're trying to just take a minute to relax, and getting on your food and landing on your kids, and they're so obnoxious. Outside, whatever, inside they make me crazy. So how this thing works is it basically uses table salt as like buckshot for killing flies. So it has a little compartment here in the top that just has table salt. I actually had to buy regular table salt because all my salt is either kosher or like pink Himalayan, and I'm not about to use pink Himalayan salt to shoot flies with. So I just got like the cheapest salt you could get, I think at Walmart or something like that. You pour it in the little hopper, you cock the gun like you would a gun. It has a little safety on the side that you have to flip, and then you aim and fire to shoot flies. And I'll try and get footage of actually getting a fly with it, but I might not be that talented to both shoot, hit, and film getting a fly. But it is so handy because with a fly swatter, right, there's that motion right before, so a lot of times you miss the flies, and then they're smushed and gross and whatever. This thing you can get within a couple feet and pretty much hit them with like 90% accuracy every time. And so instead of fighting with flies for hours on end, you can take out like 6 flies in less than a minute. It's awesome. Some negatives of this though is that of course you are spraying little bits of salt. See, look at that. They know they're after me. You spray little bits of salt around your house. Not a ton, but a little bit every time, which you do have to clean up after. And sometimes it will blast the fly to bits, and then you have fly bits that you're cleaning up, which again is just about as gross as like swatting a fly in my opinion. Also, it's kind of ugly. You can get nicer ones that are fancier, that are like all black, that come with a laser scope. Whatever. Just this by itself works really well for getting rid of those flies that make you absolutely crazy. All right, those are my 5 kind of odd items that we find really useful on our homestead. If you have some items that you have that make your life a lot easier on your little small farm, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. We might find each other's new favorite best thing. You can always find new videos here on our channel every single week, and 2 posts over on the blog about farming, family food, and fortitude here at our rough and tumble farmhouse.